Welcome to the Pioneer Living History Museum, where history comes alive. Today, we are taking you on a virtual field trip to this museum located in North Phoenix. This is Arizona's most authentic Old West town, composed of 90 acres of genuine buildings and historically accurate reproductions. During this field trip, you will see how the early pioneers lived and worked in the harsh, unforgiving environment of this diverse land. As we explore the village, you will see a taste of life during Arizona's journey from territory in 1863 to statehood in 1912. This was an era before paved streets, electricity, or running water. Some of the sights that you may see today include an original opera house, a schoolhouse and teacherage from the 1800s, a blacksmith shop, sheriff's office with jail, plus so much more. You will also get to see us, your teachers, as we stroll through the pioneer town and describe our experiences to you firsthand. Your teacher will be taking you to certain areas of the museum so that you can use the information and apply it to lessons learned in class. We found that the Pioneer Living History Museum is a unique opportunity to learn, with both the contrasts and similarities between life in the 1800s and life as we know it today. Hi, I'm your ELA teacher. Life was certainly different in the pioneer days compared to the 1900s and even to today. Imagine living in Arizona in the 1800s or the early 1900s. What would your life be like? What would your level of education be? Did they even have a high school? These are the types of questions that you will be able to answer either today after seeing this or after doing your research. First, we see the Golden School. This is the original structure from the Gordon Canyon, which is 30 miles east of Payson in the Mogollon Rim. This structure was the home to William Gordon and his family. Later, it was converted to educational use after the family moved. The school was in use from approximately 1885 to 1930. The original school records were lost when Gila County split off from Yavapai, so the exact date of construction was unable to be determined. The interior depicts a typical 1890s territorial schoolhouse. In 1890, all 8 grades received their education in a one-room schoolhouse. School was in session from March through November, and classes were not held in the winter. So just imagine, when you were in 8th grade and you had a first grader in the same class, how was the teacher able to teach every student throughout the day? That is one of the questions that you should answer in your research paper. Write about a typical school day in a one-room schoolhouse. Just so you know, the idea of a one-room schoolhouse wasn't just used for the late 1800s and early 1900s. In fact, my mom grew up in Kansas in the 1940s, and she was taught in a one-room schoolhouse until she was in 8th grade. For many years, she was actually the only student in her grade. After that, she went on to a typical high school, just like we have today. Here are some things to consider when we move on to the teacherage. In the past, did you know where your teachers lived? Did you ever see them outside of school? Was it weird? This is teacherage, a concept that was ahead of its time. Usually teachers lived with one of the families that they taught during the day. In fact, the teacher gave part of their salary to live with the family. Sometime in the late 1880s or early 1890s, the community of Pleasant Valley, east of Payson, Arizona, decided to dedicate a cabin to use for a home for a teacher. As a concept, it was not necessarily unique. It is true. By 1910, teacherages were all the rage in rural communities, as it relieved local families of the burden of boarding the teachers in their homes and provided an incentive for a better quality of teacher to accept the position. All the say, in 1890, it was truly progressive thinking. It was a concept ahead of its time. This concludes my tour of the Pioneer Living History Museum. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what a one-room schoolhouse and a teacherage look like. You can use some of this information in your research paper. Just remember to cite your sources. I've included the works cited details for the paper in the directions. Have a great day.